Nice. All right, cool.
How you
Well,
doing, Patrick?
doing good, man. How are things on that side of the pond? Is it going well? I mean, I know here it's a nice 80 something degrees, so that's like what, 34 degrees, 33 degrees Celsius, something like that.
No, it's what is it here today in Dublin? I'll tell you now. It's about 40, it's 16 degrees.
Oh, that I would love that right now. Can we trade?
Yeah.
Do you want to come over here? It's very humid too, right?
Yeah, I lived in Philadelphia for 2 years. I know what American summers are like. I don't like them.
They're awesome, is what I've heard, right? They're really
No,
cool.
they're not.
Oh
July and
no,
August are
come
the
on.
worst months of the year ever. It's
Oh, I
it's
mean, they're kind of okay sometimes, right? I mean, there's
if
probably
if you
only
get out of the
like
city, they're
I,
fine.
I
If you
think
get
there's
some.
probably like three out of the 50 states that probably have like a okay summer. Everybody
Mm.
else melts to death, It's just kind of our normal MO.
Yeah, I remember when I first moved to Philadelphia and I was sitting in my apartment on a Saturday afternoon. The sun is shining, and like I'm Irish, so like we go outside as soon as the sun is shining, and I
Yeah.
literally couldn't because I was just hit by this wall of heat as soon as I went. So I'm sitting there practically in the dark, and I'm thinking this is the weirdest thing ever, and just
Yeah.
took a bit of getting used to.
I know for me, I only go from pale to lobster. There's no in between for me, right? So I have to be very careful out there. All
Well,
right. So, I mean, the title of this thing looks exciting, right? So, we're optimizing some digital workspaces and
yeah,
we're using one of the new acronyms, right? This DEX, Digital
yes,
Employee Experience, right?
correct,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, yeah. So Dex, yeah, Dex has really kind of come to the forefront in the last year or two, and especially kind of post COVID, where companies are trying to think how they can improve the user experience for basically, maintaining employees by. So they've asked. I always say, we've both worked in end user computing for years. Well, end user computing, the bit in the middle, user.
Yeah.
That it's actually
Oh,
relevant now.
yeah.
What they say, and probably some people are going, "Oh no, 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 users, uses, whatever." But this is the thing that what they say is kind of that there's things like getting employee sentiment, what how they're feeling about their experience, and but we at Liquidware kind of have a different approach to that. So we do take user sentiment. Absolutely. New version Stratosphere has user sentiment, but we think it's kind of a wider thing. And I'll get into that in a bit more. But it's basically, I suppose the other thing is the platform agnostic. You know, Liquidware will run on any platform. And as you know, Patrick, there's been a lot of upheaval in our world.
Yes.
so um
Yeah.
and things have changed, and actually we've got some new players in the kind of DAS VDI
Yes.
space now as well, so it's kind of exciting. I was actually here's something you guys probably don't know, but I so we have a podcast at Liquidware, and our next episode is with Jarian, and me and Jarian were actually talking about this. So
Yep.
we've got players like now like Dijon, Workspot, all these kind of new.
Sonnet.io and this kind of stuff too, right? Like
Yeah,
there's a lot
exactly.
of
All these kind of new stuff. So, and we were both kind of agreeing that I wouldn't like to be an independent consultant. It's getting, there's a lot of vendors to keep
yeah.
up with these days.
it,
So,
it was it was nice when it depends was like two or three vendors, right? Like where you could have like a nice little slideshow with like good, better, best, whatever, right? And this thing has this, that thing has that. But when you have more than three options, then it gets very complicated. And we're definitely at that point. It's, and I know that's one of our webinars coming up too, is kind of some of the future of VDI in a week or so, and so that's really going to come up there. And
does it mention the year of VDI?
no, 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 we're going to call it like the year of POC, because everybody's got to kick the tire of all these new things, right? Because there's so many out there now. And I think the minimum viable product has changed drastically. And I think what's interesting, it's like the minimum viable product of what VDI is, and then what DEX is, and how much data do you need to quantify is someone having a good day or a bad day in your virtual desktop. And so I think that's kind of where these two worlds definitely collide, right? We need to know that they're having a good day and that things are working the way they're supposed to. So that's where all this is kind of diving in. And so
it is, but one of the things, I did another podcast episode with Gabe Knut, and we were talking about this, and it's a bit like, is it a canary in the mine type scenario where if you tell someone, to give you what they're feeling, they find issues that aren't really there, and then how do you quantify that? So sometimes you're getting, oh yeah, performance is really slow, and I'm like, well, give us,
I mean,
and then
if we go back all the way to the 90s, like Citrix / VDI / whatever has always been slow. I've never been able to print right? So there's been things that have been in this VDI world that have been plaguing us for 30 years, right? And so it's like, okay, but yeah, so I agree. If you give people the option to put some of those things, it's kind of like, I always wonder what the results are. I don't know if you've been to some of the bathrooms in the US, and I don't think I've seen it in Europe flying over there, but is the little happy face button that when you leave, like, did you think it was clean? I would love to see what the results are, because I'm thinking 50+% of people walk by it and say, I'm not touching that thing, right? And so then there's probably like less than 10% of people voted. And are you only going to vote if it's bad? Are you only going to vote if it's really awesome? You're not going to vote for mediocre bathroom, right? Like, I want to know those results. And I think, when you have that kind of voluntary stuff.
Wood. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know we do have those buttons at Dublin Airport in the bathrooms there. So and
have you ever pressed one?
The red button when I've seen it's absolutely disgusting or something, or there's a stall not working or something like that, and it looks like it's been assigned there for the past 6 months or something like that. So yeah, but I do kind of query about, as you said, if it's okay, do people just accept okay?
Yeah.
And is
it the normal?
Yeah, exactly. It's the normal. So yeah. I think from our perspective, we have lots of metrics that tell us what's going on. Plus we have the user sentiment. So we have a holistic kind of overview of that. So that's one of the things we will look at during the presentation.
Yeah,
but yeah, I think
we're like 10 minutes in, and we've ended up at bathrooms in Dublin Airport and voting on how clean it is. So I think this webinar is already fire, right? Like, we are on track for success. So it looks like we've got some people here. Everybody's been kind of joining over here. And let me go ahead and kick it before I kick it off. First, I have to say a gigantic thank you for Liquidware for being the first of our founding partners. And we use the term partners because without them, there wouldn't be us. And we know that it's a partnership and it's not just a sponsorship, because we're going to be doing a lot of cool things around the world with our local groups, and it's possible because of companies like Liquidware. And it puts a smile on my face every time that I think about it, because y'all were the first of the first, right? There's going to be one first, right? And I'm excited for all the things it's going to do to the end user community, because Liquidware is not just glued to one broker, not just to one solution, or not even, I think one thing I know y'all talk about a lot, because people forget, not just glued to VDI, right? You guys do more than just VDI. And really some of your roots were based on that, right? I wanted to, because I remember the first time I messed with Stratosphere was when we were doing an assessment to go from Windows 7 to, or Windows XP to Windows 7, and we were doing it in VDI. And so we ran all this software, all the Stratosphere stuff on the clients, and we said, up 2 vCPU, up 5 gigs of RAM, not 4. And we need 100 gig C drive, and we need 400 of them. And then the part that always blew my mind every time we did one of those is it would come up with what the applications that were in common between them all. And it was like, oh, you just need to install like 237 applications into the base image. You're like, whoa. But it was like 70 versions of Java, 20 versions of IE, 15 versions of Office. Like, it was like, oh, so it's only like Office, this, and this. Okay. But everybody had so many different versions out in your fleet that it was like the ultimate equalizer. Because if we're going to put it in VDI, we need to have the things that people need. And so that was my first introduction, was messing with it there. And then y'all came into the whole application space with Flex App and everything else. And I was like, oh wow, this is pretty cool, because applications are sometimes the bane of our existence as VDI admins, right? So let's rock and roll, man. I'm ready to go.
All right.
Do you want you got to click your little share screen, and I think I have to hit stop share, otherwise there's no, you can't steal it back from me. I don't know. Does anybody, yep, and if anybody also, as we're shaking and baking through this process here, if you got questions, yep, we can see your screen. Just go into presentation mode. If you have any questions, everybody that's on here on the webinar, please just drop them in the webinar chat, or just send it in the official Q&A, and between myself and Jen on the back end, we will see the thing. All right, your screen looks good. Let's shake and bake.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Patrick. I'm delighted to be here. Just a brief intro. My name is James O'Regan. I am a product marketing manager at Liquidware. For everyone always about that, I have been working in EUC for the past 18 years at this stage, and I've had every role up from help desk all the way up to kind of senior architect. So I'm not a product marketing guy. I've only come into that recently. I've been a techie for a long time. So yeah, today I'm talking about how you optimize your digital workspaces, and I'm going to talk about our approach to platform-agnostic DEX. Now that seems like a big mouthful, but I got to break that down and explain these kind of different components. Okay, so the agenda for today, we've had the brief overview, introduction, going to give an overview of Liquidware, and then this is not a slide heavy presentation. I have lots of demos of all our solutions. So I'm really hope you guys enjoy this, because we're going to go through each of our different solutions and what we can do. So just to give you an overview. So as Patrick mentioned, we mentioned DEX. DEX is digital employee experience. And in general, DEX has been around monitoring and remediation and kind of gathering sentiment from users. But at Liquidware, we kind of go beyond that, because we kind of feel that your profile, your applications, these are really important things when it comes to DEX. So we feel we have the most complete DEX coverage. So that starts with Flex App, which delivers DEX. We've got our advanced dynamic applications. They integrate with Profile Unity, which is our UEM solution, and that makes them easy to manage. And Flex App, within Flex App, we have then what's called Flex App 1. Flex App 1 is a self-contained application package, and that you can deliver it using the likes of Intune. So you don't need to use our UEM platform. You can have these self-contained packages and deliver these applications to, any number of laptops, whether they're online, or you can even have them delivered and they can be used offline as well. So we've seen some really good cases where, low bandwidth or no network, and you can still use your applications. So then we've got Profile Unity, which manages DEX. So Profile Unity does everything related to your profile, whether that is kind of how it looks, the applications that are delivered, when they're delivered, all that kind of thing. That is all controlled via Profile Unity. And, one of the big things we see is people using it, if you're on, say, on-prem and you're looking to move to cloud, or, you're going from VDI to a DaaS platform, well, you can utilize Profile Unity and take that profile of the user and then switch to a different platform. And I'm going to show you how that works in a couple of minutes. Then we have our digital experience monitoring and diagnostics, which is Stratosphere. Stratosphere was the first product that Liquidware released. And what Stratosphere does is monitors and optimizes DEX. Stratosphere is really about that deep dive at your environment. If you want to get metrics and data, say about, you know, what's the login speed across my environment, what, you know, what machines are people using, what GPUs are they using, any kind of that detailed information, this is what Stratosphere is doing. And then we have the newest member of our solution. This is Command Control. Command Control launched in August of last year at VM Explorer. And this is our real-time remediation solution. So as I say, Stratosphere monitors and optimizes, whereas Command Control is very much focused on remediation and giving you real-time data. So what that does is we can basically, with Command Control, give you an overview of what's going on in a machine in real time. And then we give you some tools to be able to remediate that kind of whatever issue is occurring. So thus kind of decreasing that whole kind of time to resolution. So that's just a brief overview of what we as Liquidware do. So I'm just gonna show you some stuff. So hopefully this is gonna work. Oh no, hold on a second. All right, 1 second. All right.
Got to jiggle the handle.
Yeah, I might have to stay out of presenter mode just because this is a little bit finicky. Okay, so what we have here is a desktop. It's a normal Windows desktop, but so what we're looking to do is take this desktop and we want to move it to a different platform. But this is a desktop with lots of applications, lots of documents, lots of customization, registry keys, all that kind of stuff. So high level of complexity, you know, it's got tons of applications installed. And, you know, we want to be able to take all of this and we want to be able to move it to another Windows machine, or maybe we want to move to cloud or another version of Windows. So what we're going to do is show you how you can do this. So the first step is you set up a console. So you just need a Windows server and you would go through a short installation of our profile management console. And then you come in here and you have our configuration manager. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new configuration. So yeah, we're going to pick a new creation. You've got various different options here. We're going to take Windows 10. You know, you can do it for Azure Blob Storage, Google Cloud Storage. It doesn't matter. We're just going to do a simple Windows 10, Windows 11. Then we need a home share. So just somewhere to store this profile. So we set that. Then we want to say how we access this. So you want to, you know, if you integrate with, you know, Active Directory, where it's going to be exactly for your GPO integration. So you can enter in that. And then you have your deployment path, which we think should be net logon. That's where the agent sits. You know, that's shared across your Active Directory servers. So it's a good location for the kind of the agent to sit, and then it's deployed to any device within your environment. So here you can see we're in Profile Unity. We're just looking at the configuration. So if you want to take your OS, so you've got here, we have our kind of portability rules. So we're going to go into our portability rules here. And we're going to do a folder redirection of our settings from our local machine to, and then we're going to synchronize those settings so that we have all of that kind of customization that we have within the solution. So that when we move to a different platform, we get all of the customizations. So now we're just going to go in and open up a Windows 11 machine. Going to log in. Profile Unity is going to start running because the agent is now running on that machine. And as you can see, I've got my backdrop, I've got all my applications, and I've got all my customizations. And you just see, so just by making that configuration, and all my files, everything is there. So everything I had on my local machine has now been transferred to another Windows machine. But it's not just, another local Windows machine. We can do this to cloud. So we'll show you now in a second that we will do this to a cloud setting as well. So yeah, we can easily migrate to the cloud as well. So we're going to connect to another machine, enter in our credentials. And you can see we're logging into the machine. Profile Unity is running again. And here we have a cloud instance, but we have all our background, our applications. And how do we know it's the cloud machine? We go in, we check the Windows version. It shows that it's an AVD session. So that's just, we've showed how easy it is for you to be able to take a machine, take all the customizations and everything that makes it unique, put it into your profile, and then you can utilize it across multiple different platforms. And you just saw we've done that in under 5 minutes. So that was just a kind of a, and then also obviously, the final thing is around automation. So you can automate the things like, printer mappings, drive mappings, all this kind of stuff. And it's not just for one user. You can do this across this for multiple users, and you can do all these various different customizations for everything. So nothing is manual in the provision of a desktop. Everything is automated. All right. So that was Profile Unity. So now we're going to move on to FlexApp. So what we have here is the FlexApp packaging console. We're going to create a new application. Create a new package. So we're going to give the package a name. This application is Visual Code. So we're going to give it a name and a version number. And you can give it a description if you want. And then you have various different options. You have where the VHDX location. We're going to also create, well, as I discussed earlier, a FlexApp 1. So, and then we're going to set the size, etc. And then we'll do create. So starts the creation process. And you can see that it has started creating and mounting the VHDX file. And then kind of what you can do is so we're just preparing our system now. So now you just run the installation of the application as you would if you were just installing on a local machine. When we do this, we capture everything, whether there's any kind of registry keys, drive mappings, any kind of customizations that you have in the application, they will be captured during the whole packaging process. So it's just going through a normal installation. As you can see, it's quite it's just a normal application process that we're currently going through. And that's finished. So we'll just finish that, finish off the process of packaging that application. And we're just doing a, just checking everything in the whole packaging process. And there we have our package. So as you can see there, we have the package in the console there. So now we'll go into inventory management within Profile Unity. We'll see we have our VS Code application. We go in and we can create a filter, which can be something as like what group we want to get this application. If it's going to be in all users, you don't have to do this, but generally most applications will be to a specific group. So we've already got one pre-set up, so we're going to apply that to that particular user. And then we have various different other conditions we can apply via a filter. So then we're going to add that filter to our application. Now with our application, we have various different options about how we're going to launch the application. We can enable click to layer, which means it just launches, or we can cache the blocks locally. So that means we can cache them as we're needed. So and then we can cache all the blocks locally as well. So it just, you can determine when you want that application to be available. So we're just going to leave it as the default for this particular example. And then we've just deployed our configuration on our application. So now we're going to log into our desktop. And it's just launching the Profile Unity agent, and that's running, and that's applying all our applications and configurations to this particular desktop. So similar to the previous video, this is just going through the whole Profile Unity process. And here we've got our desktop with some, predefined applications. And then if we just give it a second, we'll see that our other applications, including our VS Code application, will start to appear on the desktop. Then there's more of our applications. And then finally, we will see and there we go. And there you've got your Visual Studio Code application. It just runs like any other standard application. You just click on it and it will launch. And there we go. We have our application. And that's that one. So just let me pause that. Now I'm going to switch over and I'm going to show you Stratosphere. So this is Stratosphere UX 6.7, which was just released at the end of April. And so what you'll see if you're familiar with Stratosphere is we have done some enhancements around the UI. So you'll see we've got these tabs now across the top, which just makes it that bit easier to navigate around. And what you come in straight away is your summary. Your summary gives you an overview of your entire environment. And then you can kind of, you can dig deeper as you go along. So just to show you some of the things. So if we click on our diagnostics, so this will takes you in, you can go into an individual view of a machine. So you've got that overview, but you can also go then into a kind of individual view. And then some of the other things that if we're looking at,
Yeah, it doesn't look like we can see the console, the Stratosphere console.
Oh, you can't. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, that's my fault. Let me.
Thank you. All right, let's see.
Can you see it now?
I can see it now.
Thanks. Thank you, Patrick.
No problem.
Right,
thank you,
start
Jenna.
again. Okay, so yeah, what we've got here is Stratosphere 6.7. As I said, we've got these tabs now across the top, which makes navigation that bit easier. You come into your summary view, which gives you that overview of all the machines. You can see machines by UX. You can see the operating systems. You can see your top 10 users, log in. So all of these kind of things. And as you can see, you have, you can click on this and you can get more information. It tells you what each category is. You can pin it, you can hide it. So you can clean this up to whatever way you want it. Then you can also, you know, you can pick how far back in time you want this to be displayed and that kind of thing. Because I said before, Stratosphere is all about really detailed information and gathering that. But as I said, this is you give you the overview, but also if, as I said, if you go to the diagnostics tab, you can go into an individual views. And what we've got also is this kind of little introduction and this kind of thing that pops up and it tells you what each tab is doing and what you're looking at. And so it just kind of helps you to get around. And of course you can just hide it straight away. So as I said, yeah, you've got this kind of breakdown of an individual machine. And then one of the very cool things here that you have is you have integration with command control. As I said, command control is our real-time remediation solution. I click on the real-time button. I have two-factor authentication enabled on this. So I need to go into my authenticator and just go. And now I'm in command control. It's going to bring in all the real-time metrics. We get metrics off our machines every 3 seconds. So it is true real-time. And what we have here, so you have your system overview. You've got your, what's consuming CPU, RAM, disk, what sessions are logged in, where is the machine located, all of those kind of things. And then we've got, we have our task manager view. And then you can go in and you can utilize, look at, all the processes running. And then we have one of the key innovations of command control is, well, I've got all these processes, but what is this process? So you can click on this process and it utilizes ChatGPT, and it essentially, you need, using an OpenAI subscription, it goes and queries that data and it gives you the process name, the manufacturer, and a detailed description. And I haven't had to leave my console and go off and Google and potentially go on some site with malware and, download a bunch of awful things. I've done this within the console and I've got the information. And then with that process, I then have the possibility I can kill off that process if I want. I've got the same access with services. I can stop services, I can pause them, so I have that kind of level of interaction. I can even launch a PowerShell session, and then I can run any command I want on that particular machine. So, of course, for security reasons, we have two-factor authentication built in for when you need to utilize PowerShell. So I hit continue there. Now you see I am now connected to that machine. I have full PowerShell access on that machine. So once you're in there, you essentially have full access to the machine. And one of the big things around command control is that we have remote access built into the solution, but that's kind of a last resort. You should be able to resolve all of these issues within the console. And then, move that out of the way. And then also we have a couple of other things. So go back to my dashboard view. I can go into diagnostics. And I have options like I can do a speed test. I can do a ping to say, Google or something. And I can do a trace route. I can do, I can get all the IP information. I can get group policy. I can even debug our agent if required. So all of this, obviously, the big thing around this is, if you're looking at a machine, and we've all seen this, that the home Wi-Fi, wherever the user is, has become kind of an extension of the corporate network. So you need to be able to look at all the factors and see why performance is having issues. And these kind of diagnostic tools help with that. And then, as I said, this is all focused on real time. But what we have built in is what we call our DVR. So our DVR goes back up to 7 days. So we can pick a particular date, and we can then drill down into that date, a particular point in time. And then we have this kind of DVR function that will kind of, if I change it to the dashboard view, yeah. So what I can do is it will change, all the metrics will change based on, I can pause this. I can just pause it if I want to look at a particular point in time, all that. And then if I just want to get back to the real-time view, I just click on the real-time button. And then, so one other thing. So as you can see here, what we've got is a display protocol. So it's telling us it's using RDP and it's this client. So what we have is what we call our switch functionality. So we've got this machine, say this is acting as our cloud host, but we want to have a look at the endpoint that this session is running from. So simply, if I click on this button here, it opens up a new window. Again, I need to authenticate. And what that has done is connected to that. And one of the first things, as you can see, there's only one metric, and that's the display protocol. And that's what we call our protocol mirroring feature. So that is the display protocol metrics for the cloud host. And then what you'll see in a second is that all of the other metrics will start to be, come through for that particular machine. There you go. Now we have all the information. So what we've done is we've created that end-to-end association between the cloud host and the endpoint. So you don't have to go, oh, well, they're on that host and I don't know what their endpoint is. But once there's an agent on the cloud host, on the endpoint, we can make that association, and then you can do this kind of side-by-side troubleshooting. And so this is just some of the things, how we kind of utilize command control to do this. And as I said, you can have a look. You can even, if you want, you can kill off a session or anything like that. So you have those options to kind of be able to get in there and remediate. And obviously, logging a user off is the last resort. And what the whole point of this is, it should be all done in the background. Then we have, just to show briefly, we have our script store. And we're kind of in the process of building this out at the moment. But if you have your own tenant, you can build out your own scripts and then have them available for your admins for deploying to your endpoints, etc. So we have a couple of scripts there that, if I click on one of these, I can click run. I just pick the machine. So I just pick the machine and I go submit. And in this script window here, I will start to see the script executing. And then, as you can see, it pulls through a list of all the software that's installed on that particular machine. So that's just some of the stuff we have going on with command control.
And that's just like doing some PS remoting kind of stuff, right? Through the agent.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, exactly, Patrick. And as I said, you then have the script window as well. So if you've got just a custom command or something you want to run, you can utilize PowerShell. But this is just, as I said, we're trying to build out a script library, and we'll eventually open it up to community and all that kind of stuff. So lots to go with that. So I just want to go back to let's go back here. So if we go back here, we're back in Stratosphere. Actually, I'm in the wrong bit. Sorry, this is my problem. So we're going to go into the administration for a second. I just want to show you a couple of things. So if I go here to configuration, and I want to go to our connector ID keys. So I want to expand this one. This is, so as I was talking about, we were talking about user sentiment surveys. Well, we have these built in. So essentially how you configure this is you have a tray icon. It uses the Windows Toast notifications. And so while this is the first time we've really kind of, the Stratosphere agent has always ran on the background, but now it's public facing. So it's a little bit different. So what we've done is we've kept this quite simple, and we have a couple of different options you can utilize. You can rename it, you can change the icon. So for your company, you can go in and customize that so it doesn't say Liquidware, it could say company X, whatever. And then, you have, what we've done is we start with good, fair, and poor. Obviously, if you click good, there's no other action to take. Then if you've got fair, you've got a couple of different options. Is it a slow login, slow application launch, whatever. And then, if you get poor, you've got more options. And if we've also got, like, if it's not one of those options, we've got a free form box. So it kind of builds out that kind of detail from the end user. But as I said, that's just one way. And the other thing I wanted to talk about here was process optimization. So process optimization is a feature that's been in Stratosphere for a couple of years, but I think it's one that some people aren't always aware of. So the whole point of process optimization is optimizing processes, but I have to specify that it is not throttling. We do not throttle processes or anything like that, because that's just bad. What we do is we just assign a priority to them, but we're not actually throttling anything. And what we've seen that gives you the ability to do is extend the lifetime of machines. So it will look at your Windows machine. You can apply it to a different set of groups, or what processes to be raised or lowered in terms of priority. You can do it to a user, you can do it to a group. And what we find is we can actually extend the lifetime of various different machines So that, there's a cost saving there. And also this can apply to, if you can run it, there's a sustainability, because obviously you might have to do a refresh of your hardware. So this is just another feature of Stratosphere. And then, so as I said, this is Stratosphere 6.7. And one of the final kind of things we have built in is you can have a look at what's coming with our UI. As I said, we've enhanced the UI, but if I click on Stratosphere UX UI preview, you can see what's going to be coming with our new UI in version 7. So you can see it's quite similar to Command Control. We've got our sidebar. It's nice and clean and modern. I can still get in here. I can still go in and get a summary. So this works. You can go in and play with this. For me, I don't like white, so I can't wait for this to come in, because finally we get dark mode. And that just that's just the way I like
everyone's retinas appreciate that.
Yeah. Mine too. Dark mode is my default for everything, include, and which can be weird sometimes, because if you do, so I've had issues with my like signature and stuff, and when I send it to someone. So yeah, so that's coming with the next release, which this will be in early 2025. So I'm just gonna go back to avert your eyes. Unfortunately, we're gonna go back here.
It burns.
Thank you, Patrick. So that's kind of just some of the ways that we feel that we kind of meet that whole provide DEX. And as I said, we don't focus just on the monitoring and the remediation. We focus on the whole kind of experience, which we feel includes how your desktop look and feel is, your applications. So that's why we kind of feel we have a complete approach to DEX. So just give me 1 second. What's that? And yeah, those are all the demos. So I'm just going to switch back, stop sharing for a second, and go presentation. So just a couple of things for me to finish. So we're on a community event, so I just wanted people to be aware that Liquidware have their own community as well. If you scan that barcode, you'll be able to access it. And the great thing about our community is you have access to everyone at Liquidware. I'm talking up to David Benham, our CEO. He will respond to questions, as does Jason Maddox. We have several SMEs across our products. They answer questions in here. So it's a really good space for if you want to know what's going on with Liquidware, what's coming up with Liquidware. This is worth scanning that barcode and signing up if you're not already signed up. And then finally, just to finish, I have another barcode here. If you want to try out Command Control, we have a free community edition. This gives you access for up to 5 machines. And you can, there's no end date with that. So if you need to, troubleshoot your parents or siblings or kids or anything like that, you can install Command Control and start playing around with it today.
So maybe that'll like help fix the lag in Fortnite and stuff, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can look into it and you can find out what's causing it, but
there you go.
Yeah. So any questions?
All right, I'm sitting here looking. I think we're kind of like right at the top of the hour, like perfect timing here. Let's see, we got. Oh, there we go. Yeah. So Ed, we got Profile Unity still a standalone product, or is it bundled into the mothership there?
No, Profile Unity is still a standalone product. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So that means you can still buy Profile Unity Flex app and Stratosphere individually. But then what is the
Absolutely,
product?
yeah, you can, but you can
But then
also
there's
buy
the
them in the
suite,
bundle.
the
Yeah,
bundle, right?
as a suite, yes, as
Right.
a suite, which makes more sense because it's more cost effective to buy the suite. But
Yeah.
yes, they are purchasable as separate products as well. Yeah.
Looks like we got one Q&A. Are there any exceptions to packaging an app in Flex app? So I'm wondering if we're talking about how old is this app kind of thing. Um, if that's probably what we're getting to, or if there's like
All right.
32-bit
What
versions,
I would
whatever.
say is if you've got an app and you have a question about whether it can be packaged or not, we have our SME for Flex app, Jack Smith. We've put it to him to challenge him before that he reckons he can package pretty much any application with Flex app. So, join the community and put out that challenge to Jack.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So Jana, you just got to go for it.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, and make sure everyone stands here because we're about to do the Wheel of Fortune here in a second to see who the winner chicken dinner is of this chair, backpack, and cooler in one, which I guess means it's perfect to go to those outdoor concerts, the kids' soccer game. You can have your cold beverage of choice and have a place to sit, which seems pretty awesome. And you don't have to mule it around like a normal chair over your shoulder. So you've got like a backpack too.
Yeah.
Loop.
It's pretty cool.
And let's see here. Do
you need a drum roll?
I know. Well, I'm, like Zoom tries to like auto hide all this stuff. There it goes. Okay. It tries to protect me from safety here. Let's see here. Make sure we got that. Oh yeah. Pierre just got on there and said that you can use Stratosphere to report to know what is packageable within Flex app too. And in that way, he thinks that the report's called app strategy. So that sounds
Thank you,
good.
Pierre.
Yep. All right. So let's see, May 29th, in 7 days' time, we will have a nerdy one, which will go back to exactly what me and you talked about, which is what's new in VDI, which I think the simple answer is everything all at once, all the time, everywhere kind of thing, right? Like everything has changed so drastically, and is continuing to change with kind of almost no sign of it slowing down. So that'll be Marius and me geeking out on there with Jenna and Sean as our moderators, trying to wrangle us, which is going to be tough.
You and Marius, good luck with that. Serious?
Yeah, I'm sad panda for Jenna and Sean.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
So,
Sean and Jana will definitely have their work cut out with you, Pierre.
Yeah. And I think I'm gonna purposely come like 3 to 5 minutes late just to keep everybody sweating. I was early today. But yeah, make sure you've registered for that. And then also, if you haven't registered, make sure you also have signed up for the next thing. If you want to be a local leader, please scan that QR code or go to our website, and there's a couple links there that you can sign up. June will be the month of local user groups starting to appear. We have enough users in cities and we have enough leaders in some of those exact same cities that local user groups are about to get jiggy with it. So I'm really excited for that because that's kind of been the whole goal. The webinars and all those types of things are definitely awesome, but we know we want to get people able to go do those things. And that means, like, if you're in Ireland, like James, you've got, their own EUC user group now that has went independent, just like we have. So that they can talk about all the things they want to talk about without one person saying no. which is awesome.
Absolutely. We had a session about Microsoft Copilot, the last one.
Yeah,
So
and then I think I
AI,
saw the Copilot Microsoft session, which was hilarious of what
yeah.
they were trying to do with it. So we'll see what this AI thing does for us. And then a real fun one, Sarah Vaught on our side, who's our advisor for diversity in tech, plus a lot of other people that you know and love, like Esther and a couple others that have been part of diversity in tech at the Citrix user group before it got ended last year. They'll all be there for a virtual social hour for the very first one on June 20th. So make sure and sign up for that one. That will be fun. And what we call that in the South is a hootenanny or a shindig. So there's just going to be talking, having fun, living the dream, nothing fancy, no slideware, no demos, but just yapping about the goodness that is out there. And for all the other upcoming events, make sure you check our events page. And one thing that you're going to see in our events page is it's not just us. You will see E2E VCs. You will see EUC Tech in Norway. You will see the Dutch user group and the Denmark user groups and everybody else that's out there and the ZenApp blogs from Eric and everything like that. Like we're promoters of EUC events. And if you don't see your EUC user group thingamabob on there, there is a little button for you to sign up so that we can submit that and we'll put it on our calendar for you because we want to make sure everybody, no matter where you're at in the world, you can get all the EUC nerdy bits that you want to help make your career better, your life better, so that you're not staying up all night, so that you can have a Stratosphere ET and phone home for you when there's problems and give you some nice graphs that say danger, someone's having a bad day. And then also, be able to make whoever's using your system a happier user, which is very important to this DEX thing, because we want a happy user so that they use it and they're using it the most efficient way so they can get their job done faster. So that's good. And let me look at the Wheel of Fortune over here. And let's see, before I say it, I'm going to see if they're still in here, because I see the name on the little spinny thing. And is it, what is this alphabetical order? It is. Oh, sweet. All right. So the winner, we don't have fancy drum rolls yet. We're working on that. But it is Bill Birch wins the Liquidware prize. So he is ready to be accessorized. There we go. The applause.
Well done, Bill.
Congrats.
Yeah, congrats.
And Bill, you did make it to the end, because I was thinking I was going to spin the wheel again if you weren't at the end of the presentation. So if there's any words of praise you want to put in there, we'll wait here for a second. He is here. It's official, and it's 12:59, so he has not turned into a pumpkin yet. The session is not over. There you go. It was an honor to be nominated. I like it. He wants to thank the Academy and his parents for believing in him. Yeah. So
yeah, we don't have time for that.
Oh, awesome. Well, James, thank you so much for the fun presentation. We went from the bathroom to Dublin to command and control center looking at stuff, and now we're back to a chair with a cooler on it. That is pretty cool for me.
Yeah, thanks so much, Pat. Thanks very much, Patrick, and to the World of EUC. We're really obviously supportive of what you guys are doing, and we really like it. We're delighted to be part of it, and thanks to everyone for attending today. If anyone's got any questions, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. You'll find me pretty easily. Or just go to liquidware.com, or as I said, you've got the links for our community site as well. So thanks very much. Enjoy the rest of your day, everyone, or if you're in Europe, the rest of your evening.
The rest of your evening, because it's about time to head to the pub, right? I mean, like, it's pub 30
well,
over there, right?
It's 7 o'clock. I'm gonna go eat my dinner.
Oh
now,
yeah,
so.
you're late then. You're behind. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, thank you all as always, and thank you Liquidware for being our first founding partner and also our first person to do their Elevate webinar. And thank you all for everyone that joined today. We're excited to all the cool things that are about to happen with the world of EUC. So thank y'all.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.